I promised to do a follow-up video from my previous video, going a little deeper into the subject of self-talk and thoughts, and that's just what this is today. So essentially, self-talk is all the thoughts, ideas, judgments, assessments which run through our mind during the course of a day. It's pretty much background chatter. We're not truly aware of it most of the time. This is probably a good thing because it could be pretty distracting if we were aware of it all the time. However, with a little mindfulness and intention, we can pretty much pull these thoughts into awareness, which is also a good thing because the self-talk and all of our thoughts can actually have a pretty profound effect on us, the choices that we make, the things that we do, basically who we are. So I want to stop and just talk about thoughts for a minute, and I want to introduce a concept from acceptance and commitment therapy, also pronounced ACT. So the concept is that thoughts are just thoughts. Happy thoughts, sad thoughts, inspiring thoughts, thoughts about what you're going to have for lunch. When you boil them down to their most simple components, they are all just thoughts. I know that this can kind of sound a little strange or really undermining thoughts, because thoughts really can be very powerful. They can be very convincing. They can command all of our attention, and they're really what we base a lot of our decisions on. And also in ACT, there is a concept of being hooked. And this is what happens whenever we pay attention to a thought and we follow it along. We're basically getting hooked by the thought. So let's hold on to this idea for just a moment that thoughts are just thoughts, as I go through a rather extreme example to illustrate this point. So right now, I am having the thought that I am a pencil. And for whatever reason, I become completely hooked by this thought, and so I'm going to act like a pencil right now. I don't really know what pencils do, actually, so maybe just sit here and wait. I'm still here. I just rolled under the sofa and I can't get back up. I probably actually shouldn't be talking either right now. Okay, I'm done being a pencil. Utterly ridiculous, right? You know I'm not a pencil. I probably know I'm not a pencil. I know I'm not a pencil. But it didn't matter. I got totally hooked by this thought that I was a pencil, and I acted accordingly. And in fact, this example isn't all that ridiculous, because throughout the day, many of us do get caught or hooked by a thought or two, and we just follow it along the path that it's laid out for us. Let's take a look at some other thoughts, for example. And we thought being a pencil was paralyzing. Thoughts. From the harsh, I am a failure, to the seemingly benign, I'll do it tomorrow. They can be very powerful. That is, if we give them the power. But what happens if we're able to take a step back and recognize them as just thoughts? Let's take the thought, I can't do it, and add an extra phrase in front of it. I am having the thought that. I am having the thought that I can't do it. Perhaps you notice a subtle shift, a change in the weight of which the thought will carry if we really take a step back and recognize that it is a thought. I am a pencil. I am having the thought that I am a pencil. So I use this rather silly example because I just wanted to illustrate that there are often thoughts that we have that feel very true to us, but if you ask anybody else, it feels very obvious to them that this isn't true about us. Perhaps, I don't know, you know somebody who feels that they're very stupid, and in fact yourself and everybody else recognizes them as very capable and competent. I know I also mentioned in my previous video that I don't necessarily even like to argue with whether the thought is true or false. Instead, I like to approach it from how helpful is this thought for me? So instead of arguing with it, it's simply looking at, does this thought get me to a place that I want to be? Does it get me to a place where I feel happy and healthy? So basically, by being able to recognize thoughts as just thoughts, we basically capture back some of the power from them, and we're able to have more choice and personal freedom. I hope this gave you something to think about.